I thought I understood life until I read page 1 of this book. I've read Deep Work by Cal Newport, and honestly, it opened my eyes to how much we sabotage ourselves without even realizing it. The book is all about this idea of deep, distraction-free focus, work that actually moves the needle in your skills, your career, and your life. And in today's world, where phones are buzzing and social media never sleeps, this kind of work is rare, valuable, and meaningful. Newport starts by showing us that the world is changing fast. He talks about the great restructuring, technology moving faster than most people can adapt. If you can learn fast, master hard things, and produce at a high level, you're set. But if you're just reacting to notifications and emails, you're falling behind. People like Nate Silver or David Heinemeier Hansson succeed not because they're smarter than everyone else. They succeed because they can focus deeply for long periods. Even someone like Jack Dorsey thrives in distraction, but he's the exception, not the rule. Most of us need deliberate practice to get there. One of the most striking things Newport explains is why deep work is rare. Open offices, constant instant messaging, social media, all of it is engineered to pull your attention away. Even traditional workplaces expect you to be always available, and you start mistaking busyness for productivity. But here's the paradox. The fewer people are doing deep work, the more advantage you get if you do it. It's a superpower in a world of distraction. Then there's the meaningful part. Deep work isn't just about getting more done, it's about feeling alive while you do it. Newport uses the story of Rick Furr, a blacksmith who spends hours handcrafting Viking swords. Every hammer strike is deliberate, painstaking, and exhausting, but that's exactly why it feels satisfying. That's the kind of fulfillment deep work brings, being fully present, fully engaged, and actually creating something of value. And here's the kicker. You can't just stumble into this level of focus. You have to make it a habit, a practice, a deliberate choice. This is where the rules come in, the step-by-step ways to turn that feeling into your everyday reality. Deep work doesn't happen by chance. You have to design your environment and routines. He talks about rituals, like deciding where, when, and how long you'll work. You even have these grand gestures to signal commitment. For example, J.K. Rowling booked a hotel just to finish a Harry Potter book. Imagine that. She literally changed her surroundings to protect focus. It sounds dramatic, but that's the point. Your brain needs cues to treat deep work as serious. This one hit me hard. We live in a world where every little moment of boredom is filled with scrolling. Newport says, the more you give your attention to tiny distractions, the weaker your focus gets. Instead, you need to train your mind to concentrate, even when it's uncomfortable. He calls it productive meditation, using walks or mundane activities to think deeply about problems. It's like going to the gym for your brain. Your attention is a muscle, and boredom is the weight. Now, social media is tricky. Newport doesn't just say, delete everything. He talks about the craftsman mindset. Only use tools that truly benefit your work and goals. So instead of doom-scrolling Instagram or Twitter, you ask, does this tool actually help me get better or produce more? If the answer is no, you step away. There's even the experiment of going 30 days without social media, then reassessing. The point isn't moralizing, it's practical. Social media fragments attention, and attention is your currency for deep work. Finally, you have to cut the low-value stuff. Emails, meetings, random tasks. They're necessary sometimes, but they should never dominate your schedule. Newport suggests planning every minute if you have to, having shallow work budgets, and being hard to reach for things that steal focus. The goal is simple. Protect your best brain hours for the stuff that really matters. He even shows examples like Basecamp shortening their work week. They realized productivity stayed high when they eliminated unnecessary hours and distractions. And this is where deep work stopped being just an idea for me and started feeling uncomfortably personal. Because when you look at modern life honestly, distraction isn't a flaw in our character, it's the default setting. Our phones are always within reach. Tabs are always open. Messages arrive faster than we can finish a thought. Even when we sit down with the intention to focus, the environment around us is quietly pulling us in a dozen different directions. I noticed this in my own work. I'd sit down to do something that actually mattered, something that required real thinking, and within minutes, I was checking my phone. Not because anything was urgent, but because my brain had learned that switching tasks felt easier than staying with one. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't unmotivated. I was just trained, over time, to never stay still long enough to go deep. What struck me most was how fragmented my attention had become. I was working, but never fully present, always half thinking about something else, always jumping between tasks, telling myself I was being efficient, when in reality, I was never entering that state where work starts to feel focused, demanding, and strangely satisfying. The kind of state where time passes differently, and you can actually feel yourself thinking. Deep work gave language to that experience. It made me realize that the problem wasn't that I couldn't focus, it was that I hadn't been protecting focus at all. I had been giving my best mental hours away to shallow tasks and leftover attention. And once I saw that, it became hard to unsee. So instead of trying to overhaul everything, the shift became simpler. Take focus seriously. Treat it as something fragile, something worth defending. Even small decisions, like when to check messages or how often to switch tasks, started to feel less harmless once I understood their cost. And that's really the invitation here. Not to disconnect from the world completely, but to be intentional about when you let it in. To experiment with giving your mind uninterrupted space again, even if it's just for a short window, and see what changes when you do. In the end, deep work is about taking control in a distracted world. It's not easy, but it's life-changing. Bill Gates famously spent months coding BASIC in near total focus. That's not a moral lesson. It's evidence that when you focus fully, your output and creativity skyrocket. Deep work gives you skills, satisfaction, and real results in a way shallow work never can. So if there's one thing I took from deep work, it's this. The ability to focus deeply is the rarest skill today, and it will define your success more than talent, luck, or busyness ever will. If you enjoyed this look at deep work and want more tips from life-changing books, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to keep learning, check out these videos next. They'll give you even more insights you can use in your daily life.